But for my power, this is about like comment in our subscription on ECG and young cancer doom so at me aba. Ama Ghana for Yahoo Area, Pesesa Manu, so bra, Mahama sang Akeke, new and a second general. No, now say another time, no one person got on my private sector. Now, what they here want to man send a bear bino being a safe ECG and a Hunia Manama because corruption ever ECG one adding pie. Now, and no, Mahama and this 4 chairs said I be 1%, Yedema individual. Now, Abana has a bit me, I'm a general. And I say, I say, Mama Mumba Bema, Niaman Koye CC and Gosha, Umusono Hebeseba, the Dending Nano, and a mamma meet some investors. Or Peso Oja ECG no, Edema Wana wants to take over Nano, and I put out much as an Abba question. Kwasi Pratt, or no, Sujina Mudending out 1%, Yade, Sa ECG ma individual, Nana, Ni party abane de say Kwasi Pratt, intimate in Casafa na, there no, proceeding. MPP for NDC funds were more MPs for Parliament. It is a do wait to do Parliament there, and the end shall cry. Let me move fast. Nano, and I don't much so every service and paying for beer. Now, MPP for base, I do work as a tear. Will be someone, PP. My uncle name could
session, they run the ECG, take their money, go away. And when they are running ECG, they will determine for PULC a few things, how much to pay and all of that. The question at that time was, this was not necessary. Akufo-Addo and important members of his government decided that they will not privatize ECG. Ghana must have ECG. ECG can be fixed. We'll keep the lights on. We will not privatize ECG. And they departed from what they had inherited with PDS. Why are people smelling the rats right now? I'll tell you why. There's a gentleman, a very clever gentleman. They'll put his photograph there in a minute. You see him. Yes, I'm referring to this very clever gentleman, very intelligent man. Now, he was the COO of PDS. I'll get his name in a minute. Where's my small paper? Aha, good. Mr. Julius Pepena, that's his name. Mr. Julius Pepena is a very intelligent man, and he's an asset to Ghana, okay? Now, who is Julius Pepena? Julius Pepena was the COO of MIDA, the chief executive of MIDA. He was the CEO of MIDA. MIDA is the Millennium Development Corporation. They were part of PDS. There's an American angle looking at privatizing things so that it can work efficiently. All the things that we, the capitalists, talk about, which is, in essence, might not be good for a country like Ghana. But he's very well versed in these things. Now, this is how the rat was smelled. He was COO of MIDA at the time when this conversation was happening. When Akufo-Addo became president, he wasn't CEO of MIDA anymore. Now, he's been appointed as a chief executive of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG. As soon as Mr. Julius Pepena was appointed, everybody said, wait a minute, we don't want PDS anymore. Why are they bringing Julius Pepena to ECG? Yes, a very intelligent man, but they don't want him at ECG because once it comes to ECG, privatization is going to happen. Now, let's move on with the conversation. Okay, so here's ECG MD. President John Dramani Mahama is the president, and John Jinapo is the minister. Now, as soon as Mr. Mahama became president, he started complaining about power and generation and all of that. So the ECG privatization seems to be a clear agenda. Today, the Workers' Union of the ECG, the Power Union Workers Association, they are called PUWU. They went to meet with Mr. Jinapo and told him that they don't want ECG privatization. And then some of us got wind of what happened in the meeting and everything. But we also know the full story. Let's get you the full story over here. How does power get distributed in Ghana? That's very simple. So this is the way in which power gets distributed in Ghana. So up here is the fuel supply. You can also call it the gas supply. So anybody who supplies fuel is up here. If for some reason the government of Ghana is buying fuel from you, you are Allied Oil or you are Fraga Oil or you are Shell, you all come to fuel supply. So from fuel supply, it goes over to the generators. That is, the fuel goes into the generators. So I saw Glee Power Plant, Senate Power, Sen Power, ASKA. Is it ASKA? Yes, ASK. Yes, all of them. They are generators, okay? So then they come to the transmitter, which is GridCo. So GridCo will then transmit, mind you, this part, this transmitter and the distribution all used to be ECG. All that used to be ECG, okay? So the generators are all of them, including VRA. VRA sits here because they also have TICO in Takoradi is VRA, and some of the generators are under VRA. And then Hydro, which doesn't use fuel but it also generates, is also under VRA. Okay, so that comes to transmission. GridCo is a transmitting platform That is done, and then it goes to the distribution, and the distribution is by ECG, comes to your house, comes to my house, goes to your former secondary school at Disadel, goes to my former secondary school, Prese, goes to your grandmother in Atibubu, goes to my grandmother in Yamuase, and all of that. So this is how it works. All right. What is the government intending to do? Let's move on. So government wants to hand over billing, payment, and collection to a private company. But why should we do that? I mean, why in God's name should we hand over the electricity company of Ghana's payment, collection, and billing to a private company that is coming in from somewhere? It's not Ghanaian. No Ghanaian businessman is going to benefit. Just come and take over ECG, and they will go and bill. They will collect the money from us, and they will make the payments. That's it. That's all they are going to do. They're going to bring in meters and all of that. So the issue against the privatization is the government must explain what is wrong with ECG now. What is the privatization going to cure? From what the PUWU are saying, the privatization is going to cure nothing. It's just going to make the lives of Ghanaians worse for a government that has run on the back of social contracts. A left-wing government comes into government and privatizes ECG. Please tell Ambassador Kwasi Pratt and the Socialist Forum that I'm going to hound them until I hear their view about this ECG privatization. Because if this was happening in MPP era, Kwasi Pratt would be on Good Morning Ghana and said that we will never allow the privatization of ECG. He would have said it. Today, his daughter is in the office of the vice president. Government wants to privatize ECG. Kwasi Pratt says he hasn't heard it. Kwasi Pratt has not heard that the government of the NDC wants to privatize ECG. I have been following Kwasi Pratt for 25 years. He's a socialist. He's against privatization. And I'm telling you that if this was MPP, you come on Good Morning Ghana, he can even come on Good Evening Ghana. We will not allow the privatization of the ECG by the government. The workers of this country are going to rise up against it. That's what Kwasi Pratt would have said. Today, we have not heard him. We have not heard anything from Kwasi Pratt. Electricity Company of Ghana is being privatized. Socialist Forum says they haven't heard it. We have heard it, and we are going to say what we have to say. All right. So, but didn't ECG try to resolve revenue losses with a loss reduction project in 2022, 23, and 24? All right. This is the catch on this one. So ECG was getting losses, and then they decided that they were going to have a loss reduction project. There's a young man there who was doing very well. Incidentally, his name is Mahama. The guy who was at ECG, his surname is Mahama. I've forgotten his first name. But in during his time, they did this. Okay, what did this achieve? From the records that we have seen, this was a policy to decide that meters, is a big part of the ECG conversation. So they wanted the meters to be manufactured in Ghana so that it cuts off a lot of the cost. So they brought a policy where if you want to do meters for ECG, you have to have a company domiciled in Ghana, and then you manufacture it from Ghana. And then when you manufacture it, ECG gives you an area, say Teshi Tebibiano, where I live. So you go to Teshi Tebibiano, and then you go and install your meters. When the ECG recognizes within a number of days, month, that Teshi Tebibiano revenue has increased, then they now believe that the meters that you supplied is the reason for the increase in revenue. It is then that they begin to pay you. Now, this process, do we have the figures? Yes, this process led to an increase in revenue of about $1 billion, showing a jump from 500 million per month, one single month, to 1.5 billion in revenue for ECG. Viewers, look at this. This is correct. This is happening. That this led, the revenue losses about getting meters to occur here, getting meters to be manufactured here, gave a revenue jump from 500 million to 1.5 billion, almost a 1 billion jump. The PURC says that this could be better. PURC says that based on this arrangement that ECG brought up, they should have been picking up 2 billion instead of 1.5 billion. They found out, however, that the shortfall is as a result of government agencies that don't remit ECG the way they have to. So ministries don't pay, some universities, secondary school, etc., etc. In any case, this brought 1.5 billion. So this looked like a policy that they should continue. Now, there's something interesting going on here that you have to see. There's something very interesting going on here that is also bringing the smelling of the rats.